Hi, today we are doing things a little bit differently. If you're new to this account or this page, whatever you want to call this as, I am Nupur, a holistic sleep coach, and today I wanted to talk about how you can find confidence in your baby's sleep as a new mom. Because I remember when I was a new mom, I think I was just overwhelmed with all that information out there. And it was not just information, but it was also a lot of contradicting information happening. And I wanted to talk about one aspect, which is science and evidence based and research based, right? And I don't know if you would have heard about this anywhere because I haven't. So that's why I'm bringing this to you today in this podcast. So basically, when I was a new mom, right? And it's like I expected that I will have this really strong intuition, strong gut feeling, and I will be able to listen to it. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, right? And it was not just for sleep, it was for everything: feeding your baby, starting solids, just knowing if your baby has any kind of pain going on, any sickness, like anything, right? And I just felt that gut feeling will just come naturally to me. Looked like that it didn't. And what happened was actually that there was just too much information. One was social media, which would talk about like this is a scientific concept, and this is evidence based, this is research based. And then there was another part which was basically my parents, my in-laws, my culture, right? Which is a very different culture, and there is a lot of information there, might or might not be scientific or research based, but there's a lot of things, a lot of information even they have, right? So it was, for me, it was about what do I choose: cultural information, cultural legacy, or do I choose the research, the science, right? And I think that in our generation we want to kind of um, really really lean towards science, right? It's something which we just feel that it's better because it has answers, because it has research, because we are not just doing a random thing. There's a reason to why we are doing something, right? And I'm a holistic sleep coach. I have graduated from holistic sleep coaching programs, which is led by Lindsay Hukwe. And if you look her up, you'll see that she has one of the programs. Like, this is one of the sleep certification programs which is completely scientific based. So when I was doing my assignment, every answer had to be backed by a research. It was not just a random answer I could write, right? So it was like in our program we were taught how to kind of find everything from evidence. It was not just like, okay, I think this happens and I say something. It doesn't work like that. But here's the thing, and that's where I just feel a little bit differently. And this is something which I honestly don't know if I can post it on social media. I think I'm also like a little bit scared about what would people think, etc., etc. But I wanted to address it here. After working with so many babies who are literally just different. They're either very, very sensitive or really FOMO, very curious, very active. Okay. And fortunately, I have got to experience these kind of temperaments a lot after started working. So I really, really I honestly, I don't think I've worked with someone who is just like, like a calm baby. I think there was always this a little bit high needs or sensitive or strong willed. Something was always going on with the temperament. And something what happened was I obviously had to kind of always look at the research when I was giving advice to my clients. And this also happened with my own journey of motherhood. I like, if I'm doing something with my children, be it parenting toddlers, they are in this whole toddler phase where it's quite hard, right? So we are always looking at, okay, what does research says, what is this activity for, what happens to their brain, etc., etc., etc. And what happened was I stopped listening to my own gut, not just as a mother, but also as a coach. And here's the thing, your gut, your intuition, it it just doesn't need science based um, information. It doesn't need proofs. You know that feeling where you have this in your stomach where you just feel there's something going to go wrong, and all the science can say, no, no, everything is fine, but you just know that no, this is not going to work out. And then people are optimistic, people want to say, no, 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 it's going to work out, and then you anyway do it, but then it doesn't, and then you're like, I knew it. And here's the thing, I appreciate the kind of research we have right now in our generation, for our generation, right? Like, we have so much research going on, what happens to our babies, what happens, like, infant mental health, postpartum mom's mental health, what happens when we parent them differently, what happens when we parent them anxiously, what happens when we parent them permissively, right? There's so much research, there's so much knowledge which comes from evidence based. But here's the thing, we have to, like, kind of understand and, like, kind of admit that even though the research which is going on, which has been proven a lot of things, it's not like it's done on every child in this world, right? Yes, it might have done for like a majority of children, but not for every child. And your child is unique. It's how it is. Your child is unique. And yes, research might say that a certain thing is good, but it might not be good for your child. And there, science doesn't come into the picture, honestly. It's your intuition, it's your gut. And I'll come back to the point why I have this message today. I shared a reel on my Instagram about a bath um, timing. So basically, if you have like a really FOMO baby who's very active, very curious, and is quite distracted kind of baby, loves to play, or hates water. Two extreme cases, right? Loves water or hates water. And if you have one of those, and because we have been told that bath is, like, again, it comes from research, that bath is really relaxing, it's really good, etc., etc., and then you have bath as your bedtime routine. But then you see that after the bedtime routine, you have really hard time to calm your baby down. Either they are, like, they loved that bath and it really overstimulated them, or they cried so much that, again, it overstimulated them, good or bad way, but it just overstimulates them. And then you see just a really hard time during the bedtime. And I'll be honest, I did not get this information anywhere, not on internet, not in my own coaching program. I didn't just get this information. For me, the information was bath works for some, bath doesn't work for some, that's it. And now what doesn't work for, I didn't know. And this came from my own experience with my one of my twins who hated bath for, I think, almost 15 months of his life. And we just couldn't do bath as bedtime because he would always cry and there was nothing calm going on with him. And then I also experimented this with my clients, and it was a very small tweak. It was a tweak where we just changed the bath time earlier. And after bath time, instead of just going to the bed, like, treating it as, like, end of the day, we just did a small calm down routine. And then we did the bedtime. And I cannot tell you how it changed the whole struggles they were having at bedtime. And this did not come from any research. I did not sit down and see any research paper. I did not see any evidence that if there is any evidence for bath. I just did this because in my gut, I just felt like when I saw my own child having really hard time in the bath, and then we were just trying to give him bath because the internet was telling us that bath is a great bedtime routine. It's great, it helps them. Sure, but it was not helping my baby. And I didn't know why I was still continuing it, because the internet was telling me, but I don't care. Like, it was not working for my baby. And it came from the intuition, it came from the gut. And this is what I wanted to share. And when I shared this reel, I got few comments about how research tells that bath is great. And that's why I wanted to talk about recently. I don't know if you know these things about our sleep industry, but recently a study or a research came saying that sleep training is not harmful. It was like, I think, last week. And most of these non sleep training uh, coaches or non sleep training team were talking about how it's we don't believe in that research, how we believe in our intuition, and etc etc, right? And I just wanted to give you that one small example, how there is this sleep training team and non-sleep training team, and each of them are giving research to you or evidence to you saying that no, nothing happens if you sleep train, and then they say no, 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 something happens when you sleep train. What do you do? What exactly would you do when two people come to you from a very different visions, from very different missions, and from very different parenting values, right? And I'll be very honest, I don't care about those teams. I'm not here and there. You will come to me when you want to work with me, okay? Not because I do this or this. Yes, I don't use any cry it out methods, that is there. But I don't like bashing trainers or those who choose sleep training. It's your choice, right? I'm not talking about them, but what I'm talking about is when we are talking about, oh, research is important, evidence based information is important, scientific information is important. These both teams are giving you scientific information, they are giving you research papers. What do you choose? I'll tell you. What you need to do is just pause for a moment and ask yourself, what do you want to choose? And I'm not telling you what is the right answer. You need to know that. What does your body say? What does your gut say? You have this feeling, right? And you can be one of those who says, you know what? I'm fine with either of it, but I just need sleep. I really need it. And that's there. That's your intuition telling you something. I am no one to tell you that your intuition is wrong. No one on this planet can tell you that, no matter what it is. And my whole point come back to this, that we as mothers, and yes, I'm a sleep coach too, but I'm also a mother. And when I go online and I'm looking at parenting coaches, I'm looking at sleep coaches, I'm looking at nutritional coaches, everyone is giving their messages, right? Their own messages. And it's driven by either marketing or their own missions, personal missions, and that's fine. But what happens when you keep looking at these messages is that you sometimes can get really overwhelmed with all that information coming out at you. And sometimes it's contradicting. And it's not contradicting because they want to make it contradicting. It's because sometimes you have to kind of give different information for people to grab it. And the problem happens is because you don't know the whole picture, right? Because you have to kind of either work with a sleep coach to know the whole picture. But if you don't, you will just know just pieces of information, which is fine. But then problem happens is because you feel it's very contradicting. Most of the times it's not contradicting, it's just that it's very complex and it's very nuanced. For example, in one of the reels I might say that wake windows work for some babies, and then I will come on to say that wake windows don't work for some babies. It's not contradicting. The message is that wake windows works for some and wake windows don't work for some. That's the message. But when you look at these content pieces separately, you feel that, oh my god, what the hell is going on? The whole internet is so contradictory. No, it's not. It's the noise which really builds up. So what I really want you to do is, if you want to feel confident as a mom, about your baby's sleep, about your feeding choices, about when do you want to start solids, what do you want to start with solids, BLW, spoon feeding. I get it. There's so many choice out there. I just want you to pause, and I just want you to understand that you need to understand that we need to believe our intuition, and that's the reason why it's called mother's intuition. There's a reason for it. We women are very, very intuitive. We just don't, we are not given that opportunity, right? There are everyone telling us you're doing it wrong. There is internet telling us, there is family members telling us, and we forget that. But women are very intuitive. You can follow any coaches out there, be it, food coaches, sleep coaches, do whatever works. But when you see something is not working for your baby, even though hundreds of sleep coaches is telling you that this works, it just doesn't work for your baby. No, your baby is not broken. It's just that your baby is not one of those. That's it. It doesn't work for your baby, period. It doesn't work. And just know that you're not doing anything wrong. It doesn't work not because you're doing wrongly. No, it doesn't work. That's it. And that's why, and that's how you will start feeling really confident about your choices when you make as a mom, and know that you'll make some things wrong. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes, but it is what it is. And I think this is one of the most raw, unedited kind of video you'll ever see from me. But I actually liked it. Let me know if you liked it, because I think I'm gonna do more of these. It just felt like as if we are in a cafe sitting down together and talking about motherhood. And I would love to do more of these. I honestly hate editing, so you will not find those editing things. This is how it's going to be. But I would love to know if this helped you. And I would actually would love to know if you want more of these. For now, bye. Listen to your intuition, listen to your gut. There's a reason why you have this voice telling you that something is wrong. Bye.